What's up guys, welcome to another Convicted Llama video. Today we're going to be looking at 5 different secret entrances you can use in your own Minecraft builds. Alright, before we get into it, please leave a like, subscribe and turn on notifications to see more of this content. Right, let's get into it. First we have the host switch. Now the host switch is useful because it creates an easy way to make a secret entrance and be completely invisible. So we just press this, it opens the door, and we sneak on. Or we don't sneak on through. We actually sneak on through this time. Alright, so the way this works is when this piece of farmland, or when this grass block gets hoed, it is no longer a full block, so this repeater can't take a redstone output from it, and it repowers this torch, which pushes the piston, goes into this, and then goes into this pulse extender, then goes through onto this circuit, which just pulls the pistons back, pulling the blocks with it. Now, this is so useful because you literally, there's no way to tell. If you just saw this in your world, you wouldn't think, well obviously I've terraformed this, but if this was just on a normal cliff, then it'd be quite easy to, nobody would know that you've just got, going to go like this. Oh, I've messed it up again. You can add more delay to the pulse extender, but yeah, there you go. Another way to camouflage this, I was thinking maybe like a garden or something. You just need to have like grass block, then a wall, one block back, and then for this I just made a simple one. You can make a much more advanced piston door, I don't know, maybe like a 2x2 one or something. Right, next we're going to look at the this sort of library area I've made. Now let me close this up real quick. So the way this works is you have these lecterns that were added in 1.14, where you can take a redstone output from them based on which page you're on. So if I go to page 3, it then opens the door and I can go through. Now, this works so you take the redstone output from the lectern and you can go do it through a block, which is great. It's easy to hide then. So on one page, you get this much signal output, then on 2 pages you get this much, and then on 3 pages you get this much. And that is enough to unpower this torch and make the pistons retract, pulling out the blocks, and you can walk through. Now, I could use one of these item frames, but I thought it would be better with the library theme I've got going on to use a lectern. Now I've just sort of decorated this simply, haven't spent too much time doing this. I'm really not very good at doing these interiors and stuff, but oh well. Right, let's move on to the next one. Now this one isn't so much secret, more as very secure. This is almost impossible to break into if you don't have one of these tickets. Now, what you do, you put this ticket in here, then press the button, and it will open up the entrance, and you can walk through, and it closes behind you. Everything's good. So basically how this works is this drops this into the hopper, then the comparator gets enough signal to unpower this, letting the item go back into the dropper. Then out of this block comes a repeater into a pulse extender like we saw earlier. These are very useful. I recommend watching the redstone circuits episode if you want to find out how these work. Now, then we invert the signal using a redstone torch, bring it up here and into one of these circuits. Now, the way this works is using pistons in an arrangement sort of like this. You have then pistons like this, so you can power them properly like this, and it's all good. Now, the thing about this is that you can power these with delay. You have to power them with delay for them to push out properly. Otherwise, it just doesn't do anything. It will just push them out in the wrong order, and you end up with a pretty broken piston door. Right, there we go. That's pretty good. Now, on to the next one. So again, I've sort of disguised it with lots of different ways you could trigger this input. Like you could use trapdoors, chests, lectern. But what I've done here is I've used an item frame. So you see, any other way I point it doesn't do anything. But when I point it to that, it opens up the door and I can walk through. Now, the way this works is that comparators will take the output from an item frame, and based on which position it's in, it will put a certain amount of signal. Now, whichever one you want, you put the repeater next to that, and then put it into whatever door you want. But you can see if I move it to that, it closes. Any other one, it closes. Just that one. Now, so how this works. Wait, I've already said that. But yeah, it's quite simple. But I've tried to sort of disguise it by making there's a lot of different ways you could open it. If someone's looking for a secret entrance, they probably won't, and they also might not turn it all the way, which is great. So, next one. Now this is probably the most complicated out of all of them. Right, first I'm going to talk about the design. So I sort of went for a concrete look with lots of different modern blocks. I quite like the colour scheme of white, grey and blue. And I have this sort of going for like an office kind of build. And then in here it's very basic. I could add I feel like I should add a little bit of plants or something. Maybe get some jungle leaves in here. Like that, let's say. And then have these with some trapdoors. I don't know which trapdoor to use, but that should work. Like so, we got a little plant pot. Right, onto it. So we just got this sort of desk. You wouldn't expect anything from it, but like we did earlier, you could try doing this all you want, but still it doesn't do anything. Now, if you do that as well, it opens up the door. Oh, I forgot that there was a door there. Maybe I shouldn't have a bush there. Oh. I could put the bush down here instead. I'll just make it a bit like wild. Just sort of do like that, make some foliage around. Then, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm using a computer gate, which some people will know about. I find it very confusing. So you take two inputs and it gives you one output. Now, so to make these outputs, so with the trapdoor I've used a T flip-flop. So when you flick it, it moves the block back. Then when you flick it again, it pushes the block over the torch and it goes into the gate. Then with this one, we've got it set to how it was before, with it pointing straight upwards, and you've got it this many blocks. Is it 8 blocks? Yeah. So we've got it 8 blocks, and it comes down into this repeater. Now we bring out from this redstone torch, you bring it up this. So if you didn't know, slabs don't, like, you can put redstone like this, it can go up the slabs. Then you have so for this door to work, I had to make it unpower to open, so I had to invert the signal with this redstone torch and bring it out and sort of do that, and then put it into the same door we had over there. Now, so if you see this in action, so when it's off it closes, and when this is like that, it still doesn't do anything. So you have to know that you have to flick it twice, and you have to pull this to there. Oh, did that not work? There we go. I flicked it too many times or something. Right, yeah, I think it's quite an interesting concept. Like, you could put so many different things into there. Like, you could try using a chest, maybe. Or what other ways can I think of? You could, I guess you could put a hose switch in. Or you could make, I forgot about this, but you could make a redstone torch key, which is basically where you put down a redstone torch, and the thing breaks the redstone torch, but uses that as an input. Or you could have somewhere down here, you could have like a secret button or something that also needs to be pressed. Like there, maybe. Now, to think about more design features, I really love llamas. So I'm thinking we could build a massive llama on here or something. Or you could theme it any way you want. Like maybe add some more detail blocks, like you've got all the workstations now. There's so many different things. Now, if I had an office, I think I would definitely want a llama on the wall, but that's a bit strange, isn't it? Alright, I think I'm going to end it off here. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And so, let's go back over what we started with. So we've got a hose switch, sort of library thing, lectern activation. Then we've got a keycard reader. Then we have the item frame. Then we have a combination of both an item frame and a trapdoor. So this has been 5 secret entrances for your redstone builds, and I hope you enjoyed. See ya.